Before I get into this message, I want to tell y'all about this dream that I had. And in my dream, there was a loved one and they were trying to treat me to a birthday trip. I had the impression in the dream that they were going to pay for everything. They were going to pay for my outfit. They were going to pay for me to get my hair done, my nails done. And long story short, in the dream, every time I would ask them, how about we go to the mall today? They would just look at me and smile. They wouldn't say anything. And they had this mischievous type of look on their faces. How you would look at somebody if you were purposely keeping information from them or trying to surprise them. And in the dream, it was really starting to annoy me because I'm like, why do you keep not saying anything? Every time I ask you about the plans or what are we doing, the time frame, the flight dates, every time I would get no answer, and this loved one would look at me and smile. In this dream, it felt like my loved one had a significant amount of money solely for this trip, solely for me to enjoy my birthday. So like I said, I woke up, God revealed to me that in this dream, my loved one represented him. And I was trying to find a word for what it was, how it was that my loved one was treating me by smiling, not really saying anything, and somewhat leading me on, or at least that's how it felt like they were leading me on. And so God gave me the word stall. And the definition of stall is to delay taking action or avoid giving an answer in order to get an advantage. Another definition of stall is to speak or act in a deliberately vague way. Another word for stall is prevaricate, which means to speak or act in an evasive way. The definition of evasive is tending to avoid commitment or self-revelation, especially by responding only indirectly. So God was saying to me that he has been stalling, not in the sense that he's delaying taking action, because he's not delaying, but he's causing it or allowing it to appear that he is delaying taking action. But he most definitely is avoiding giving an answer. And the reason why he's avoiding giving you an answer, avoiding speaking too much to certain things, is because there is an advantage for him through that. God is speaking and acting in a deliberately vague way. Last night I was talking to my son and God just randomly told me to tell him this is the last wait. And I'm like, huh? I didn't think that he would understand why or what I meant by that. But when I said that, he was like, this is the last wait. Then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I know what you mean. And he says, you're saying this is the last wait before we move. And then he says to me, this is the final act. And ever since he said that to me last night, it's just been stuck in my head. So then today I'm watching this video and my son, all of a sudden he just was like, and he began acting really, really excited. And he was like, remember, it's the final act. We got to celebrate. What are we going to do to celebrate? This is the final act. And he was just going in and I was like, okay, all right. So then I paused the video and I decided to look up the definition of final act. And when I read this definition, it was good to me. The definition of final act: the final part of a play, film, or narrative in which the strands of the plot are drawn together and matters are explained or resolved. And we know that the plot is the main events. So the final act is when everything, all of the different main events, all of the different highlights, all of the different extreme highs, the different extreme lows, when you got that settlement, when somebody stole your car and you was back on the bus, everything drawn together and everything explained and resolved. What God is doing, what we're in, is the final act. I know y'all seen movies where the ending is super drawn out. The last 30-20 minutes of the movie Everything is slowly being pieced together. You don't really know exactly what happened. You don't know exactly how it happened, why it happened. But little by little, you can see the story being pieced together. And by those last 2 minutes of the movie, you finally see the whole story. Or you know how when you're watching a Netflix show or a TV series, and at the end of every episode, there's a cliffhanger. There's something that happens at the end of that episode that leaves you wanting more. It leaves you with more questions than when it first started. You get a piece, you get a taste of what's going on. You find out new information. You see some things more clear. But there is also things that now you even more confused. Now I really don't know what's going on. And I know y'all have seen a good Netflix series and you say to yourself, I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to watch 2 episodes and then I'm going to go to bed. But then it's 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and you have watched season 1, season 2, and 3 because those cliffhangers got you every time. And at this point, as I'm thinking over these different things, I'm still watching this video in the meantime. I'm constantly pausing it, unpausing it, pausing it again. And I'm really sitting back thinking how a lot of us are truly in a cliffhanger moment. I don't know what you doing. You got some people over here and they like, you know what? I'm still excited though. I'm mad. I don't like how things are going, but I'm still excited. Then you got some people that's like, I don't care what you do, God. I'm excited. I know it's gonna happen. I don't care what my situation look like. Then you got these other people over here and they're like, you know what? I really, at this point, I think I'm finna just check out. I think I'm just completely done with hope, expectation. I'm tired of waiting. This is too much. Just know. No, I don't know what you're doing. You're not seeing nothing. I'm not liking this. And I could just only imagine thousands on thousands of children of God all around the world in the same cliffhanger. So then I go back and I unpause the video again. And when I unpause it again, the lady begins to talk about how God is showing her these big red curtains. There's a lot of people in the audience talking about how you are about to be presented. Everything that she said truly bear witness to my spirit. So many different videos and things that I have posted, she talked about some of the same points, some of the same things. And when she said that about the stage and the curtains, especially with her saying that they were red, that they were huge, that they appeared heavy, I was just like, okay. And that's when everything truly began to come together. So God, you are stalling. Not stalling in a way that is manipulative, but you're stalling, speaking, and acting in a deliberately vague way. You're purposely trying to respond to things in a very indirect way. And this word can even go back to the suspense word that God gave me as well. But this word is different in the sense that God was really trying to speak to me and say, look, this is a whole show for me. This is a whole thing for me. Since we are God's servants, since we work hand in hand with the Lord, you know, the word says God does not do anything before he reveals it to his prophets, so on and so forth. We get used to always knowing or hearing firsthand what it is that God is doing, how he's going to do it. But God truly wants us to know when he said that this is going to be a surprise, he meant that. When God says that he is performing the final act, it's going to be a show for even you. Imagine I'm the one. I'm the one who been waiting. I'm the one. Like, you supposed to be telling me and showing them. But God is like, no, it's not just for them. It's for you. How can the main character not even know what's going on? And I just keep on hearing the icing on the cake, the icing on the cake. God has waited to this very moment to draw everything together. And I keep on hearing in my spirit as well. The whole shebang, the whole shebang, the whole shebang. We about to see the whole shebang. Not one little detail is going to be left out. You're not going to have not one question about nothing. You're going to know exactly why you had to wait so long. You're going to know exactly what it was that God was doing behind closed doors. You're going to know exactly what God had up his sleeve all along. And the good part about it, y'all were in the comments saying that y'all throwing the towel. Y'all were in the comments saying that you have completely lost your excitement. You have completely lost your joy. But guess what? You already came too far. You too far for God to count you out. You too far for God to change his mind. You could be mad. You could be sad. We could be disappointed. We could be stressed. But you too far. God got to get the glory out of your story. God got to do exactly what he said he was going to do. It don't matter who can see it. It don't matter who can tell, who can't tell. It don't matter how anybody feeling. It don't matter how you feeling. It don't matter how your haters feeling. It don't matter how your kids feeling. It don't matter how your co-workers feeling. If God said that that is what he wanted to do in your life, he is going to do it. If God has made a promise, if God has spoken over your life, that thing is going to come to pass. He don't need you to do it. It was a season where he needed you to do it. He needed your faith to do it. He needed your joy. He needed your understanding to do it. We well past that now. God is now coming in to do exactly. Oh, and I just feel the Holy Spirit so heavy. God is coming to do exactly what it is that he said he was going to do. I don't care how long it's been. It don't matter how long you waited. If God spoke a word, that thing is surely going to come to pass.